Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0. As always, I'm Grady Hooker, and live on Skype we've got Josh.
Hey!
We're going to start off here in the women's division. It appears as though what we're doing on Raw is we're going to make fun of Mickie James' age.
Well, we already made fun of her weight, so why not?
Mickie James is just the perpetual getting made fun of person, isn't she?
Yeah. When she's not crazy.
Good point. She's had some rough periods in her career in terms of storylines that she's been given.
Yeah.
You're either the insane stalker you're being made fun of because of your weight and called Piggy James, or now because you're old, despite not really being that old.
Yeah.
But obviously from here, Raw Women's Championship on the horizon. We got Alexa Mickie as a matchup. It's going to be a decent one.
Yeah. You know what? I expected her to win the match with Nia Jax, but it pissed me off that they did a disqualification route. And the fact that they put Nia back with Alexa. Oh, God.
Nia definitely does seem to be stuck in booking hell at the moment. It seems like we can't decide what we want to do with her. It looked like she was going off for a strong singles push, and nope, we're back to just being Alexa's, for lack of a better word, bodyguard, crony.
Sidekick.
Yeah. Not really great words to describe someone.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know anymore.
I feel like at the moment...
At least we know that...
Yeah.
At least we know it's not going to be Asuka versus... Bliss for the title right off the bat.
Yeah.
At least we know that.
It definitely seems as though right now, though, the Raw Women's division is just in a sort of stasis, just like waiting for Asuka. No one's really doing too much. Alexa has been given Mickie James as a stopgap to get her there. Nia has almost been hit like with reverse and going backwards a little bit. Yeah, it feels like their division is being put on hold, or everything at the moment is just a bit of a placeholder until Asuka shows up, which is a little annoying. But we'll see how it goes.
You're not going to like this.
Oh God!
The first person that said Asuka needs to have a program with to completely destroy would be Miss I Created the Women's Revolution, Emma.
I think you're secretly talking about Alicia Fox, not Emma.
Nope, I'm talking about Emma.
I'll give you Alicia Fox.
Only if it could be with Emma at the same time.
Does Alicia Fox eat the pinfall?
They both do at the same time.
Ooh. I don't know if I agree to this. Could potentially lead to Emma feuding with Alicia Fox, but God knows that won't happen. So I will disagree with your point and just hope like hell that's not what we get. But yeah, Alicia Fox showing up out of seemingly nowhere at the moment, popping in, showing up, really not doing all too much. Hi, I'm here. Goodbye. If we jump into the tag team division, it looks as though, at least for now, Jason Jordan and Matt Hardy are putting on decent teamwork. I don't know the nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Broken agility.
Yeah, kind of weird. Because Jason Jordan's storyline just basically got hijacked by something we'll talk later in the show about. And so he's basically in booking limbo. Matt's in booking limbo because Jeff's hurt. So I guess they decided, well, for the time being, until we figure out what to do, we'll put them in a tag team together.
Yep. We'll see how far it goes. The only reason I'm going to say they're not challenging for the title anytime soon is mainly because the title is busy more than anything.
Yeah, it's part of that hijack storyline.
Yeah. We might as well talk about it now. The Miz and the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus, solidifying themselves as a good old three-man unit. And we got a slight hint of all three former Shield members all being backstage.
Yeah, fun fact. The Shield debuted in Indianapolis Survivor Series in 2012. They broke up in Indianapolis 3 years ago. Next week's Raw in Indianapolis.
God damn it. Too much coincidence here. Obviously, the WWE writers thought about this, put in some forethought, and this was their plan all along. No way this is coincidences. I don't believe you. But yeah, it's the way we're headed. The Miz versus Roman Reigns was an Intercontinental Championship match. Obviously, Miz is still walking around with the championship. The other two were dealing with Cesaro and Sheamus. At least it's not Miz and the Miz-Taraj versus the Shield.
Yeah, at least this is a more believable threat to the Shield. I would propose that the first match the reunited Shield does together at TLC be a 6-man TLC match. Winner takes all for all the titles.
And they lose, right? You gotta have them lose.
I will say that to build in the intrigue that the question is whether or not the Shield could actually work together, make the winner of the fall on that team become the Intercontinental Champion. That way, it adds intrigue as to whether or not they could actually work together.
There's definitely interesting options to go with. And what you're suggesting is definitely interesting, so it's clearly not what we're going to get. We're probably just going to get them shoved together in some mamsy-pamsy normal 6-man tag match with no consequences whatsoever. That's what I've come to expect. Kind of disappointing that that's what I've come to expect, but it is what it is. But yeah, definitely excited that it's the Bar much more than if it was the Miz-Taraj. It all makes sense, it all lines up, and it puts Miz in a little bit of a focal point, which is always great since he's worked his butt off the last few years, as well as previously. But recently, if we're talking about Seth Rollins, something did happen to him early in the show, and wasn't a pleasant night for him.
No, he got demolished as expected by Braun Strowman, and then got attacked by the Bar, which then Ambrose came out to try to help and got put down by the Bar as well, which is predicated what happened to Roman at the end of the show.
But clearly Braun here, still a monster, still gonna be a humongous threat. We just have to wait and see to who he's gonna be a threat to at the moment.
Yeah, he's kind of in that booking limbo as well.
Finished up with Lesnar, is there much more he can go and do? We'll have to wait and see, as always. Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor, they're still going. That's still a thing. Are we going to get a Sister Abigail as a human being, as a person?
Not exactly. What I have heard is that Sister Abigail is just going to be the alter ego of Bray Wyatt.
Okay. I'm just going to close my eyes and let that happen. I can't stop it, and I'll just let it go.
It's an interesting idea. It's not a bad idea, I don't think. I mean, there are worse things that it could end up being.
Of course. There's always worse things. But for now, we'll move on from that because we've got to get to Hell in a Cell. Kalisto finally taking his rightful place in the Cruiserweight division.
I mistaked Lindsay Dorado for him at the beginning because I thought he was sitting in the front row with all the cosplayers that were sitting in the front row. Initially, but that was Lindsay Dorado when I go back to think about it. But yeah, Enzo had got a clause that said that anybody in the Cruiserweight division couldn't touch him or they'd be fired. So Kurt Angle said, alright, I give you that clause, but here's somebody who's exempt from that clause. And brought out Kalisto after Enzo absolutely roasted the entire division.
New champ?
Probably not. I think it's too early to take the title off of Enzo, honestly. But it should be an interesting match. At least Kalisto can say, hey, I did something outside the Cruiserweight division. Can you say that, Enzo?
Boom. Big boom.
Yeah, because he's a 2-time United States champion.
But yeah, that's all the time we have for Raw. We've got to leave a sizable chunk for Hell in a Cell. We end up coming back from that. But it's time to go to our entrance theme. It's Ryback's theme. It's called Meat on the Table.
More.
And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM 89.0. Grady and Josh, SmackDown side, Hell in a Cell time. Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin taking on the Hype Bros. Seen it before, but this time it's on the pre-show.
Boom goes the Dynamite for one of these teams. Most likely the Hype Bros.
Swerve, both of them.
It'd be interesting if they swerved and blew up both teams and had Shelton and, like, Ryder form a team.
I would love it. If this match was not a pre-show match, I would fantasize that both teams blow up and it creates some weird, zany combination of people. But the fact that it's a pre-show match definitely makes me think that we're going to go with the more direct one of them blowing up route, or even potentially delaying it till SmackDown next week.
Yeah, there's been definitely a lot more issues between the Hype Bros than there have been about Benjamin and Gable. They've been more of a well-oiled machine.
That's a classic misdirect.
Yes.
They make you think one thing and then boom, went the other way.
Which I still hope for, but it could be worse.
It could be worse. Randy Orton Rusev. We're gonna have a singles match. Maybe Aiden English is gonna be here.
Maybe. Aiden English is at least in a better place than he was a couple months ago.
Oh hell yeah! If you go from nothing to be facing Randy Orton, big jump.
Yeah.
Oh sorry, believably facing Randy Orton.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been him that would have gotten the 10-second losses to Randy Orton a few months ago.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting seeing the turnaround on how one guy can essentially go from a nothing into a main event player at this point, or upper mid-card, I guess if you wanted to be technical. But, you know, it wouldn't be necessarily surprising for Aiden English to come out and challenge for the US title, or at a stretch the WWE title, since, you know, Jinder did it once, so anybody can do it at this point. Whereas if you'd asked that like 6 months ago, I would have scoffed in your face and told you were an idiot.
I still want him to form a tag team with Elias, though.
Maybe one day. But who's going to win, Randy Orton, Rusev?
Default answer, Orton.
Live a little, I'm going to pick Rusev, just because you picked Randy. Bobby Roode, Dolph Ziggler. Bobby Roode picks up faces Mike Kanellis. Ta-da! And now we'll just move on to our Dolph Ziggler match.
Yeah, at least it's a way to introduce Bobby, get him some popularity, and we'll give him a win on a pay-per-view.
Still 100% sure that Dolph Ziggler is going to enter to Bobby Roode's music.
I would doubt that.
It's 100% in my head.
Yeah.
I expect it, and I will be disappointed if it does not happen.
The only thing that I could see them doing beyond Roode's entrance would be flares. But yeah, I expect, just like you, that he'll come out with Bobby Roode's entrance.
Yeah. And then Bobby Roode will beat the ever-loving poop out of him and win the match.
Yes.
AJ Styles, Baron Corbin, US title match. Is Corbin gonna walk away with the championship? The answer is yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm firmly in my beliefs that somehow, someway, Baron Corbin will hold championship gold.
I think you will. It's just not right now.
Right now. It's happening this very second. This weekend, some people would say.
We'll see. We'll see.
There's always the want and then the expect. The expectation is AJ Styles just continues on being the US champion and moves on. The want is Baron Corbin to pick up the championship and have a bit of a roll with it.
I will give him a 25% chance of walking out with the title.
Ooh, that's better than you normally give people. I'll take it.
Then a 25% of a no contest.
Okay.
And then 50% AJ Styles retains.
I'll take those odds, and I will run away with them all the way into the Natalya-Charlotte Flair match. Who's walking away with the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, and why is it Carmella?
Let's see here. I will say Charlotte wins the title, loses it on SmackDown.
Okay. They seemed fairly heavy with the Sasha switches to be getting Charlotte at least up to her dad's record. I don't know what her official number is, but I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte wins it to lose it very quickly.
Charlotte is a 4-time champion as well.
There you go. So she could pick up a 5-time here, lose it almost immediately, whether it's this night or whether it's next week on SmackDown or the next pay-per-view or any time between now and then. Carmella's on the horizon and she's going to be cashing in and presumably holding that championship within the next few months.
Yeah. Although, if I was booking things, I probably would not have booked the celebration part after the tag team match on Tuesday, where Carmella was actually standing behind Natalya.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do that, that gives you an opportunity to strike when they don't see it to cash in. So it makes no sense to not at least try anything if you're in that situation. But I definitely think that we're getting closer and closer to the dawn of the Princess of Staten Island's time.
Yeah. We just gotta get there.
I think it'll be Tuesday, but it could happen Sunday.
Well, we'll see what happens there. And the next match up on the card, the New Day, the Usos, Hell in a Cell match for the tag team titles. Dudes have put on damn good matches in the past. It's time for them to conclude their feud inside the cell. How good's it going to be?
It'll be an interesting match. I'm not exactly sure how a tag team match will work inside of Hell in a Cell. Will it be a tornado tag? And which two members of the New Day will be in the inside the cell, and which one will be locked out of it?
I guess it's a case of wait and see. Definitely be interesting. I think it'll set a standard going forward, of what we do. So we'll have to see how tag team Hell in a Cell matches from now on will be carried out. Up next, we'll do the other Hell in a Cell match, a Falls Count Anywhere Hell in a Cell match, Kevin Owens, Shane McMahon.
I want this fight to actually hit the building. If we're going to blow the rules out the window, let's go for it all the way.
Yeah. How far are we going?
At least to the street.
At least, okay.
I don't care. I don't care what they do. I just don't want them to do a false count anywhere and they stick around the ringside area.
Fair enough. Definitely been done.
Then again, this is the same company that did an Alberto Del Rio versus Rey Mysterio, a false count anywhere match, and it never left the freaking ring.
Sometimes people are geniuses. But ultimately, who's going to win here, I guess, is the big question. Logically says Kevin Owens picks up the win, but logic is never right in the WWE.
I will go with Shane McMahon winning, and that's why Kevin Owens will go back to Raw.
You're sending Kevin back, are you? Kicking him out the door. We'll see. I don't know any future plans for either of them. I just don't know if Shane will be sticking around as a wrestler is the only reason I wouldn't have given him the win, but hey. It's been a while since Shane's picked up a win.
Yeah, it's just, I've heard rumors of Kevin Owens going back to Raw, and it would make more sense if he lost the match than if he wins and goes to Raw. So,
definitely.
And who knows? That might actually split up Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for a while. We won't have to see that match anymore.
I will clap for that any day.
But we'll have to see. But I think Shane McMahon will find a way to win the match. Maybe in the concession stand. That would be hilarious. But it should be an interesting match.
I'm definitely hopeful. Tentatively hopeful. Which is what I also can use to describe the WWE Championship match between Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura.
And I'm going to dash your hopes.
No, don't you dash my hopes. Don't you do it.
Jinder Mahal retains.
I will throw a brick at you through the internet.
Because he's expected to still be the champion when they get to India in December.
Nah, India doesn't care. Dump him. It's Shinsuke's time. Let's go.
I'm just saying what he's expected to be. Either he will still be the champion by the time they get to India, or he will have lost the title and won it back. But he's expected to be the champion when they get to India. They do their India tour in December.
I don't believe you, and I can't hear you. No, if I don't hear you say it, it's not a real thing, and I don't have to accept it.
Well, you'll have to accept it on Sunday when it happens.
These are lies. It won't happen, and I won't have to accept it. Shinsuke Nakamura will win, and we will all be happy.
This is the same thing that was said when he became champion in the first place.
Yep. Every single time he went for a championship match, everybody always thought he was going to lose it. It's not going to be that long. I won't have to hear it for too much longer. And then it just went on and on and on. And the meme just grew and grew and grew, and now he's our WWE champion for potentially much longer than he already has been. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't believe you just because I don't want to believe you. Jinder Mahal is currently 135 days into his reign. That's enough, right?
Well, it's longer than all of
All of Roman Reigns' combined.
yes.
Yep. There's a lot of people he's held it longer than. This is combined reigns. Roman Reigns, Ric Flair, Chris Jericho, Daniel Bryan, Mankind and Batista aren't too surprising. But yeah, he's held it more than a lot of people. And by the time the pay-per-view comes around, potentially going to be holding it longer than Edge and AJ Styles. It's crazy to think that he's held it the same amount of time as AJ Styles. Just because that's super recent, obviously, and people have that title reign in the back of their head. We'll see. Again, tentatively hopeful. It's the motto at this point. Just WWE, please don't screw it up too bad. That goes for Raw, SmackDown, pay-per-views, and everything in between.
Like Starrcade, where Jinder Mahal currently advertised as the WWE champion.
Card subject to change. Card always subject to change. Radio, well, that's all we got time for this week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye-bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling Radio. We'll see you next week.
From the look on their face, it's like the prize right in front of my eyes. Taking the sky's the limit, got no